Hello and welcome. My name is Preacher. Oh, baby. The last 24 hours in video game news has been unreal. Unreal. We had Blue Point yesterday. And then today, let me bring it up. Phil Spencer is fired. It says he retires, but we'll talk about it. Phil Spencer was definitely just fucking fired. And while you can rest assured, there is a large part of me that wants to go sprinting off into yet another year-long victory lap. but honestly, this is way more insidious and much more, again, here on this channel, we don't take things story to story. We look at the entire tapestry of time and what has happened. In the last 24 hours, PlayStation has told you that live service games are more important than all of the money that they could ever potentially dig out of their old IP, right? By destroying Blue Point, by literally buying them, crumpling them up, and throwing them away. That's what PlayStation did, right? And that's what they should be remembered as doing. They said that all of our back catalog, all the money that we could ever make off of that Blue Point could work on, it's not worth it. You know what is worth it? Horizon's Hunter's Gathering. And that's a game that I think looks okay. But that's what PlayStation is telling you with that, right? Now, Microsoft is telling you, is forcing you to know old Xbox is dead. People, they tried to downplay these spiraling financials for years. Xbox guys tried to downplay it all, and now we're here. Phil Spencer gone and Sarah Bond with him, right? All of this taking place during Xbox's 25th anniversary, right? You have videos of Phil Spencer gassing up how great of a year this was going to be. You're the head of this is just like with Harada a couple months ago, right? Leaving Tekken 8. Something happened there, right? You don't leave Tekken in the state that it was in, right? That's not how good leadership leaves, right? That's not how you want to leave. That's not a planned retirement. I'm sorry. I love Harada. I love Tekken, but that's just not how that works. Same thing with this. Phil Spencer does not leave unceremoniously in February of the 25th anniversary along with Sarah Bond, who was long thought to be his successor because things are going well. That's not how that works. And it looks like the woman replacing Phil as CEO of Xbox is some AI shorty who just joined Microsoft in 2024. So what it looks like, right? And we also have tweets from Sarah Bond or posts on LinkedIn from Sarah Bond mere hours ago. Some of that stuff might be automated, you know what I mean? Who's to say? But all that to say, this stuff is happening very recently, right? This wasn't a planned wind down for today. Something shifted. And again, you know what I mean? Part of me wants to say, look, you know, we told y'all that Xbox was being mismanaged from the top. We told you that these things weren't just rolling with the punches and all was hunky-dory, and you know, this is just Microsoft taking it on the chin and they're all in on these changes. No, these were failures. These were a consistent line of failures, and the true leadership, Microsoft, lost faith in the Xbox leadership to be able to right the ship. You know what I mean? And it looks like, you know, like we said, Sarah Bond was supposed to be long rumored to be Phil's successor. That's always who people have thought it has been. You know what I mean? That makes sense. But it looks like they brought in the AI shorty and that was going to be Sarah's new boss. And she said, oh no, you know what I mean? And good on her for that, because that's crazy. You bring in this new shorty and now she's my boss when I've been Xbox this long, and you're getting rid of Phil? Bye. Looks like Booty didn't care. Booty sticking on. He's not losing his job over the shit. It's, you know, whatever joy could be derived from it on a I told you so base is absolutely dwarfed by the shadow that looms over the gaming industry, losing people like Phil Spencer and studios like Bluepoint. You know, that is a very, very negative turning point for the mainstream gaming industry, the Western mainstream gaming industry. Just full stop. Full stop. Western gaming industries have sent the absolute worst message. This is like some of the bleakest 24-hour shit that could happen in gaming. You know what I mean? And of course, dev layoffs are, you know, way worse. But I just mean from an ideological standpoint. You know what I mean? Like, the destruction of Bluepoint and all of that, all that means, and all that came with, and all that didn't come with it. And then, you know, the official ousting of Phil Spencer. We have officially crossed an event horizon, and gaming will be different now. You know what I mean? PlayStation's gonna be very different. Xbox is gonna be very different. You know? I'm very interested to see what happens with the Xbox content cult community. This whole stuff could really be coming to an end. I thought it was coming to an end in February 2024. It proved us wrong, you know what I mean? There's still plenty to talk about, and we will always be here on the pews with things to talk about. But it's just interesting, like, you know, this is officially, if you didn't know, if you don't know, now you know. This is not the same Xbox. This is not the same Xbox. And it's never gonna be again. So I'm interested to see, with all the concessions that people have made because they like Phil Spencer, because they liked the access that they got, because they liked all the energy. You know what I mean? You already see dudes like Special Nick of Xbox era fucking trying to schmooze up to this shorty really weirdly, like just all types of weird shit. And mind you, I think now we're going to see a lot of true colors. I think a lot's going to come from this, because also something not to be discounted is the new president of Xbox, the new CEO of Xbox, is a brown woman. That's woke. So we're going to see just how much support Xbox really had for its features and its games and the shit like that, versus people believing in Phil's vision and being friends with Phil and really liking the access they got. We're going to see who really fucked with Xbox and who fucked with the cadre. You know what I mean? Who was kissing up to the cadre and corpos and shit. So I'm very interested, man. This whole shit is about to shake up. But it does cast a long shadow. You know what I mean? These aren't moves that speak to a creatively led games industry, and that's what we all want. So those are my unrefined thoughts on all of this. This is just fresh. This is all just hitting me. I had to make a video immediately because, man, we're really reaching the end of an era. We reached the end of an era. You know, I remember in the beginning of this generation thinking, damn, it's starting off slow. And then once Sony announced that 12 live service projects, stuff started to pop off. You know what I mean? Just news after news. And then Xbox, and then Redfall, and then Starfield, and then da-da-da-da-da. It all went from there. And then next gen really took off. And, you know, we're really starting to see things pivot and wind down here. So big, huge shifts this generation in the way that the business of video games is done. People say nothing has changed, everything's like not enough changes. Not only is that not true for the video games themselves, the business of video games has completely shifted. And if we're not careful, it's going to shift away from the kinds of games that we love, man. You got to support the games that you love. If you see a game and you like it, buy it, man. Pay money for it. Man. Seriously, all of these, it's cool. Get your subscription services or whatever, but pay money for your games, man. And I'm trying to think of ways that I can protest PlayStation, man, because I really don't like that Blue Point shit. And I think I'm gonna cancel my PlayStation Plus, bro. I can't act like I want to stop playing on PlayStation, or I don't want to play any of these games, you know what I mean? But a subscription service is something I can sacrifice, that I can be like, hey, you guys are making moves that I don't like, you know what I mean? I don't agree with. And the only way, we can talk all day on Twitter, we can talk all day anywhere you want to talk, but the only way they're going to listen is with their wallets. I don't necessarily believe in punishing other devs or other necessarily whole projects. Like I said before, I heard people were gonna protest all the gas games from PlayStation. I don't support that, but I do support voting with your wallet, because we got to send a message. If we want this shit, we got to make it known now. Now, because guys like Phil Spencer are getting the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Guys like Yoshida are getting the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? The suits are getting real tight and AI driven. This shorty don't know nothing about video games, man. Fuck it, for real. Like, let's just be real, bro. Let's just be real. Unless she come out with some gamer score real soon, which I'm pretty sure she would have led with. This is some AI think tank shorty that has now co-opted Xbox. And Herman Holst, whatever the fuck he's doing with PlayStation at this point, we're in spooky waters, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you're a PlayStation guy, don't throw your arm out slinging mud on this one, for real, because this is spooky stuff. Phil made a lot of mistakes. Phil fucked up a lot. You know what I mean? And maybe he should have been gone even sooner. But the fact that he's being ousted under these circumstances, and, this unceremoniously, man, he didn't even... Hey, they laughed at Jim Ryan and said he was fired. That motherfucker got cookies on his way out. I ain't seen no Phil Spencer cookies yet. Man. So, I think Phil Spencer was flawed. I think he was a flawed character, you know what I mean? But he meant well, dog, and I think he also led with creativity, you know what I mean? I think he wanted to put good games out there. I don't think he succeeded all the time, very much at all, but I think he tried, and I don't think that's going to be the driving force behind AI Shorty. I don't think AI Shorty, who doesn't play games, is going to be very worried about great games. She put great games first and foremost, but you don't know games. So how do you mean to do that? So, not to dismiss her completely, you know what I mean? It's not my aim to disrespect anybody, but it's just like, you kind of seem a bit underqualified. And it seemed like at least Sarah Bond was more qualified to take over. And for her to get passed up, yeah, I'm glad she resigned and got the fuck out of there. So the ship is sunk. You know what I mean? That Xbox ship is sunk, and I'm Interested to see now who wants to pay $1,200 for a new Xbox now that Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer aren't the ones selling it to you. Do you really now? Do you still see the difference between a Steam box and an Xbox console PC? Now do you still see? I'm very interested to see what narratives change. Again, I think this is, I want to keep this video more on the, because it is serious that Phil Spencer and Blue Point, all of that happening so quickly is really a horrible sign for gaming. But on the other hand, there's a lot of dudes who have been hypocritical for a long time, which is what a lot of this channel is about. And I'm very interested to see now that your Trinity is broken up officially. 2 of the 3 Trinities gone. Are you still loyal? Were you being for real? Or was you capping because you want to go to Xbox Fan Fest? So, very interested to see where all this goes. This is a huge pivot point. One of the biggest stories we could cover on a channel like this. And man, end of an era. I can only hope the best for gaming. I'm going to go enjoy some gaming now, in honor. After things settle, I think I'm going to come back and make another video probably tomorrow or the next day as things come out and more happens and we learn more. So yeah, gotta let this one settle, but I had to get the fresh feelings out there, man. It's negative, it is, but also, a lot of as more of a bystander to Xbox, I'm very interested to see how this shifts the dynamic with their fandom. But that's gonna do it for now, dog. My name is Preacher, and I single-handedly fell Phil Spencer. And with that in mind, I do so hope to see you right back here on the pews.